Hi, welcome to the podcast. Hey, today we're going to talk about whether or not an atheist who believes aliens are visiting Earth is incompatible with their belief system. And why this is a problem is atheists have, for the longest time, repeated over and over their mantra of, hey, if you can't prove it, then it doesn't exist, right? It's not something that is real. And we see this often when an atheist comes in and they debate a Christian. One of the first things they'll say is, there is no God because you cannot prove it. And they'll also bring up what they term the burden of proof. They'll say, you have the burden of proof. You have the burden of proof to prove that there is a God and he exists. But somehow or another, when they get to this ideal of aliens visiting Earth, they kind of forget all that. It doesn't apply to them. And what they like to do is come up with this, what they call logical reasoning. In other words, it's this: hey, there's so many planets out there in this universe that some of them are in the life zone. In other words, they're capable of supporting life. Therefore, life has evolved on there. And some of these have probably evolved, some of the life forms have probably evolved to the point that they're far advanced of the life here on Earth and they're able to visit us. And that's what we see. We see UFOs, is what we commonly call them. They're in the sky, they're coming down, they're visiting, they're doing all kinds of interesting stuff. And the atheists who believe this, once again, are kind of forgetting their own rules. Once more, if they believe that we have the burden of proof of proving that God exists, I'm going to say they also have the burden of proof proving these aliens exist. Just this logical reasoning that there are so many planets out there with life forms, that doesn't prove anything. That is certainly a good argument, but it doesn't prove anything. And if we're going to be scientific about that, we can't prove that aliens exist. We have no scientific proof. Um, and so this is where they go wrong, right? And you can't be a hypocrite. I guess you could if you wanted to be, but let's face it, atheists, you can't believe in aliens and that these aliens are visiting Earth if you can't believe in God, because you can't prove either, is what you tell us, right? You can just assume, or you can say, well, I have a logical assumption, therefore they are. Well, that's not proof, right? And so if you're going to stick to this scientific reasoning that you have and you claim that's the best and that's the only thing that matters, well, I'm sorry, you can't prove we're being visited by aliens. And if you hold that belief, you're a hypocrite. Uh, Now, there's a few atheists out there who are probably saying, you know what, I've had a personal encounter with a UFO, whatever that may be. Maybe they saw it. I don't know. Maybe they had interaction with the aliens herself or something along those lines. But understand the majority of the atheist community doesn't consider that to be evidence, and they'll come right out and tell you human witness testimony is unreliable. It is not something that we use um, in the scientific community. So we could round up 50 atheists who all have had contact with aliens, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't work. Um, it has to be scientific proof. And for that matter, I can round up 50 Christians who had um, interaction with the deity, right? I can find 50 Christians who said that God has touched their life either directly or indirectly. I mean, we can go on and keep on going on. And so the whole purpose of this, I'm not out here to call you out and say, call you names like some atheists will do to Christians. What I want you to do, or I'm asking you to think about, is if you are one of these atheists and you believe it's possible, for whatever reason you've had some kind of contact or whatever your unsupported belief is that there are aliens and they visited Earth. Um, I'm asking you to reconsider your position of God. Look into it, figure it out, because you're using the same amount of evidence as we have for God as for aliens, and that's incompatible. Anyway, if you get a chance, stop by my YouTube channel and see if there's anything else that might be of use to you. But once again, seek God. See if you can't find something that's interesting to you. Thanks.